Okay, we're live. Yeah, hello, hello, hello. Can you see me? Can you hear me? I really hope so. Yeah. So we did our best. Okay, so give me any sign that you hear me. So you may write something in the comments and we will understand that you comprehend us, that you listen us. Okay. So like all the bloggers in the beginning, they have got some advert. But unfortunately, nobody paid us for endorsement of any product. That's why you need just to listen to us. Yeah. So I hope that everything is good. You can hear us, you can watch us, and we begin. So my name is Vika, and I want to tell you, for example, at the beginning we have got on the agenda some classroom management today. And first of all, I would like to set the rules of our webinar. That's why I'll explain that. First of all, unfortunately, you will not be able to enjoy my beautiful face during the whole of the webinar. So you will see the presentation, and after that, we'll have that 5 minutes to discuss any questions that, any difficulties that you may come across with, and feel free to write down any comments, write down any questions that arise in your head, that come to your mind. And we will clarify everything that you may find difficult, and I hope that you will understand everything properly. Of course, if you have some interesting ideas that you would like to share as well, write down them, feel free, don't worry, we'll discuss everything. Okay, so, and we'll begin with the classroom management. What is it? The notion of it itself. Everybody thinks that classroom management begins when we have got the lesson itself, but I'm not sure that it's true. And I hope that you agree with me. So I would like to share something with you, and we'll begin talking. So first of all, classroom management, it's not just the answering the questions. It's not just managing the classroom itself. First of all, it includes several points like preparation, conducting, and outcomes. According to the preparation, I hope that everybody understands that you need to be well prepared before your lesson. You need to know all the aspects. You need to know all of the grammar, of course. You need to plan your lesson very carefully. You need to think about the timing. You need to set the objectives. You need to foresee everything. I understand that you're not fortune tellers, but still you have to predict how your lesson will be successful or not. What about the outcomes of any of the tasks? So you have to predict everything that is possible to predict. And what about the objectives? I would like to stop here for a while a little bit. And it's a very good idea when you write down the objectives, not only in your plan, in your lesson plan, but of course on the board as well. It means that you give your students the opportunity to find out what they will learn by the end of the lesson. And will it be successful or not for them? What I mean, so you write down several objectives, several aims of your lesson, like learn some vocabulary, certain vocabulary, learn some grammar, or maybe some functional language. It means that they are ready for this one and they know what to expect. If you want to make some secret about your aims, you may write down them step by step. And at the end of the lesson, you need to put ticks, and you will feel relieved if you reached all of your aims, and your students will be also satisfied by completing all of these tasks. Okay, so what about the code behavior? Good behavior, I think it's the best idea to set this at the beginning of the semester, when you explain everything, when you explain the behavior of your students. It means that you may print it and take with you at any lesson that you have, and put it on the board or somewhere that is visible for your student. It means that you need to include there some certain information, what you're going to do during the lesson, what do you expect from your students. I mean that you need to learn how, for example, you need to do your homework, you need not to interrupt your teacher, not to interrupt anybody, be polite, and so on and so forth. So you may write down anything that you think is correct, you think is right according to your lessons. And if your students sometimes misbehave, you may just put on it and show and stress on it. It will be a good idea to maintain the correct order, to maintain the correct behavior of your students. Because, you know, sometimes you have got like students who are not very good at behaving, not very good at being polite students. I understand that all of us will work with adult students. However, some childish behavior may arise. I mean that some students, they want some attention, the attention seekers. They try to show off, but how to react on this, nobody knows. You need to be adequate. If the showing off is not very serious one and everybody laughs, it's not very rude one, so you may just keep it, ignore and laugh with everybody, it will be okay. It will be the good atmosphere, the good environment during your lessons. But if it is like not according to the frames, you need to say this, you need to be polite, and you know, everybody will be afraid if you say that after the lesson I would like to speak with you. It works really. Okay, so somebody can be like power seekers. They want to rule the lesson, but of course, come on. You are the boss here, you're the big boss, and only you run the lesson. Don't forget about this. And don't make your students be teachers if you don't want, of course, this. And of course, sometimes can be some withdrawn students or depressed one. It means that if something is not going well, they will give up, they will be depressed, sad, and disappointed. It means that you don't need to forget to praise your students. Even if it is like slightest success, don't forget about this. It's a very good idea to praise them, to say, of course, you made several mistakes, but your pronunciation is perfect. More. Don't worry about this. Because the classroom management, this is interaction, this is two-side process. You need to be sure that you behave correctly and your students behave correctly. Okay, I hope that with preparation everything is understandable. Like, you have to be well prepared, you have to know everything, and you have to be confident. It means that the conducting of your lesson will go smooth, and the environment will be good. You will feel very confident and very relieved when everything is going all well. You need not to show that you worry. Of course, everybody will worry at the beginning of lesson, the beginning of working, the beginning of new group probably, but your students shouldn't understand this. You are the main person here, and if you're not sure, self-confident, they will notice this and nobody will come to your lesson again, unfortunately. If smoothness, everything should be connected. You shouldn't say that, of course, today we begin with warming up, we have got some work that we need to revise. Okay, they understand this, but you shouldn't say this for them, really. They shouldn't notice this, and everything should be connected, and everything should begin and ends not very noticeable for your students. You shouldn't say that today the topic of our lesson, the grammar topic, is modal verbs. No, come on. You need to say this to give some hints, to give some clues, and the bridges should be very smooth. Hope you understand this. Diversity of your lessons should be great, because if your students sit all of the 2 hours, almost 2 hours, they feel bored, they feel maybe a little bit sad, not very active or interested. You need to change them, you need to regroup them, you need to give them opportunity to find new partners, to listen to new accents. For example, if you have got multilingual classroom, it will be good idea that they speak not only with people of the same nationality they are, and the different tasks should be included. Like speaking, it means that they do not speak during all of the lesson. They speak, they write, they stand up, they move somehow. And it's a very good idea, classroom sitting. When you can control how they sit, when you can regroup them according to your wishes, according to your tasks. Non-verbal signs, they have got great power for your students. If you work during the whole period of time, you have got some secret signs maybe, or maybe you have got some signs that you agreed with. It can be like you show your fingers, your hand, and your students understand that they need to repeat something for the 5th time probably. It is like good idea for creating environment, atmosphere. What means display work? I previously said that you have to praise your students, and of course you have to motivate them by showing their progress. Display work means that they create different projects, different leaflets, different texts. Please do not throw them off. You need to save them a little bit, and after the end of the course, you will give them all of their writings, and they then compare how big their progress is. Or if it is some good, interesting idea, for example, they wrote the letter to Santa Claus, it would be a good idea for them to remember what they wrote, and it's like memory for them. Okay, so about the outcomes. Outcomes of your lesson is the clear feedback and the clear understanding for you that your students learn some new material. They comprehend a lot of new information, they learn new vocabulary, they learn new grammar, and you have to find out how they understand everything. For this case, you create some feedback. Feedback can be in different ways. You may create like 4 corners, and in each of the corner you have got some topics, like 3 sentences that you can create now with new vocabulary, with new grammar, 3 questions that you have still, anything like this. So you create by yourself. What is cool down? It's not a very difficult task. Please do not put like production at the end of the lesson or expecting that your students will do everything perfectly at 5 minutes. No, of course not. They need just 3 or 5 minutes to relax, to make sure that everything is in their head on the correct place. And you have some short maybe discussion just for them to refresh everything that they have learned. And home task should be present at each of the lesson, of course, because they need to refresh, to revise the material. According to the home task, I have got several pieces of advice for you, because you have got different students, strong and weak students in your classes, and home task should be divided as well. I mean that your strong students and your weak students, they do different tasks. They can do different tasks really. And for very like confident, intelligent student, you can give more difficult tasks. It means that it will not discourage them. They will understand that they do something more, and they will do their best. If you give weak students very difficult home task, can you think that you will discourage or encourage them? Of course, discourage, because it's not understandable for them how to deal with this homework. It means that you need to make them not so difficult, not so complicated, or and if they do this very successfully, they will be proud of themselves, of course. So the key point is to praise and not to discourage your students. Okay, as I said, managing the seeds, we have got very important aspect. You have the a lot of possible variants of it. You have got the triangle classroom. You can manage your sitting as you wish in your classrooms during your lessons. So what I mean triangle classroom, it means that you have got the front row that is the biggest and gradually tapping backward with a single student in the back row. What about the advantages of this sitting is that everybody sees clearly the board, everybody sees clearly you, and you see everybody as well. Very good. It's good that you have got the opportunity to regroup your students, to pair them. So you should try to and experience this if you like this. And the second variant is the position of Russian letter P. If you need a lot of mingling activities, you can create your classroom in the shape of this letter because you will have this space for them, and it's a very good idea of working for like discussions or debates, and everybody sees each other. So it's like eye contact, very important. What about the correction during your lesson? I know that everybody is afraid of doing this, and everybody doesn't know like when it exactly should be done, how it should be done. First of all, we have got two types of speaking. We have got fluency and accuracy speaking. What do you think, what is more important, fluency or accuracy? Of course, nobody knows because they are equally important. But if you talk about the fluency, should you correct your students all of the time? I'm not sure, because again, it will discourage your students and they will be afraid to make some mistakes. They need to feel free talking and not paying attention to be afraid what to say exactly. If it is accuracy, you work probably under some grammar topic. Of course, they need to remember the correct structure of the grammar. So in this case, you may show some correction. I will show you different correction slots. So the first is the correction slot perform. You don't need to interrupt your students to interrupt their fluent speaking or accuracy speaking. You just make some notes. You make the level, you write down the date, and you have got the column. Grammar vocabulary, it means the people made some mistakes exactly in these topics. If it is pronunciation, you write down separate words. Language one, it means that your students use some word into their native language, and you write down them in the native language as well. And the last point is the key point in this. You have to find some good thing about this, not only some bad things. And all of the times you should begin with good one. Not only you made a lot of mistakes, oh my God. No. Begin with the good points, that they pronounce something correctly, they use new word, oh very good, like at a boy, at a girl for you. Keep it up, don't stop. You can do this by yourself, or you have got discussion, debate. You may hand out this correction slot performer to each of the students, and they will try to find the mistakes of each other. It works very good for them because they notice each other mistakes. It means that they understand the language itself. And they like to act as teachers as well, of course. Who doesn't like this? What about turning a blind eye? It's like a very good idea for them, as I said previously, that you shouldn't only notice the bad points. You may write down several mistakes that your students have during the speaking into two columns. Some very terrible mistakes that nobody can do, like not adding s to the third form. Or you may write down some not very serious slight mistakes in the second column. And for the second column, you may say that, of course, they are mistakes, but they are not serious, so you may not just pay a lot of attention for them. you may close your eyes. It means to make a blind eye for these mistakes because they are not too serious one. So correction sandwich. It means that in this case, you interrupt your student and you do the correction right on the spot. Is it a good, is it a bad? Decide you, according to the tasks, of course. After the speaking, after the doing different tasks, you may prepare the gap filling. Where your students have some mistakes, you may write down them on the board and you may erase them. And they will try to remember, try to recall what word they need to fill in there. Swapping roles, as I said, you may swap your roles with your students and give the answers if you had some writing task to any of the students. And he or she will correct everything and will explain, if it is smart one, why is it so. Zero correction, this is similar like turning a blind eye. Of course, you may write down your students' mistakes and discuss them at the next lessons. Not exactly on this board. You may take this into the consideration and prepare some tasks that connected to the mistakes that your students made. Teacher shadows is a very interesting one because you need to explain first of all in advance that teacher shadow is not a punishment. This is some kind of trying to understand, trying to recognize the mistakes. You go around the classroom and your students are speaking. They are discussing something. When you notice the mistake, you ask one student to stand up and go with you. It means that your student made some mistake and now with you, he or she tried to understand and try to listen to other students. If somebody also makes mistakes, you ask him or her to stand up and go with you. So it will be some kind of entertaining, but please stress that this is not a punishment. This is just some kind of recognizing and recalling the mistakes. If you have the very fluent speaking, but it's not very serious and you may interrupt your students, you may make some symbols. The gestures are working perfectly. If you make like T with your fingers, it means that you show that your student missed the article them. If you show small word missing by holding a thumb and forefinger close together, it means that your student missed something, missed small word. If you cross the hands over to show wrong word order, I think that your student will understand this. But of course, in advance, you have to agree with each of the symbols. It means that you're not just showing different strange gestures and nobody understands what's going on in the world. Like, you may create your own. You may use this one that I show, like buzzing, I like this, like a B to show the missing verb for B. For example, I going. You this, your student understands that B is missed. Will it work with advanced level? Who knows? Maybe it's like more adequate for the lower levels. But if your advanced students are funny, no problem for them to be if they still forget about be in present continuous tense. So be creative, praise your students, do not make them feel depressed while their lessons, do not make them feel stupid, encourage them to study, and I'm waiting for your different variants of feedbacks, how you do this and how it works with you. Maybe you have tried any of the types of feedback, any of the error corrections, and feel free to write down any questions, to write down any comments. We have got just exactly 5 minutes to answer all of them. So I want to show you myself. Okay, here am I. Hello, that's how I look like. So what we have? Who's there? Okay, I hope that you have something to tell us, to share your ideas, how it happened in your classroom, maybe you had some problems, maybe you had no idea how to correct your students, and you just closed the eyes, you made the blind eye for all of the mistakes. Who knows? Like, everything is understandable. Nobody has any questions, nobody has any mistakes. Okay. So could you get some details about teacher shadow, please? Yeah, actually, it's not very difficult task. You just walk around. Imagine that you have got 16 students sitting and discussing some very important topic. But of course, they make some mistakes. Who hasn't made the mistake? And you ask your student to stand up. It means that they will understand that they did some mistake. You explain what's wrong with it, and you ask them to control other students as well. He or she will go after you, following you, and listen to other students as well, being like shadow teacher. So where do the teacher and students go? They do not go at home. They just monitor other students. They listen to other students, make some notes, or so it means that you don't make the correction on the spot. You listen to everything and just ask to stand up the student who has got the mistake. So you do not go anywhere. You are still in classroom, controlling everything. They walk around, I've got it. Yeah, perfect. Very good. I hope that you're so interested in this and you will definitely try it in your classes. No other questions? Okay, so if you have no other questions, I hope that I was useful for you and you had some yeah, we're very welcome, and you had some fresh ideas, or maybe you refresh some information in your memory if you're like professors of everything. So thank you for your attention. Bye bye.